What if I told you everything you know about good and evil is a lie? That morality isn't universal, but just a story invented to control you? Friedrich Nietzsche didn't just ask this question, he wrote an entire book about it. And it might change the way you see the world forever. When you hear the words good and evil, you probably think of morality, religion, or maybe even superheroes. But Friedrich Nietzsche asks a radical question. What if good and evil don't actually exist? What if they're just human inventions, stories we tell to control each other? In 1886, Nietzsche published Beyond Good and Evil, a book that doesn't just criticize morality, it tears it down and asks us to rebuild it from the ground up. Nietzsche begins with a challenge. Philosophers have always treated morality as if it were timeless truth, but he argues that morality is not universal. Instead, it's relative, shaped by history, culture, and especially by power. For example, humility, patience, obedience, these aren't divine truths. They're values promoted by Christianity, a religion that grew from oppressed people. By praising weakness as virtue, they flipped the script and made strength look like sin. To explain this, Nietzsche introduces two moral systems, master morality and slave morality. Master morality came from rulers, warriors, the powerful. It celebrated pride, strength, ambition. Slave morality came from the oppressed, the weak majority. It valued kindness, humility, pity. Why? Because those traits made their lives safer. But Nietzsche says our modern world is dominated by slave morality. And while it protects the weak, it also drags down human greatness. If not good and evil, what really drives human beings? For Nietzsche, it's something deeper, the will to power. This is the inner force pushing us not just to survive, but to expand, create, and overcome. Think of an artist who pushes boundaries, an athlete breaking records, or a scientist chasing new discoveries. It's not about comfort or happiness. It's about the thrill of achievement, of going further than before. Nietzsche doesn't just attack morality, he goes after philosophers too. He says most philosophers pretend to seek truth, but really, they're just pushing their own personal values. For example, Plato praised the realm of eternal forms, but Nietzsche argues that was just Plato's preference for order and perfection disguised as universal truth. Kant spoke about duty and universal laws, but Nietzsche sees that as Kant's personality talking, not pure objectivity. Philosophy, Nietzsche says, is never neutral. Every thinker is human, full of bias. So what does it mean to live beyond good and evil? Nietzsche isn't saying do whatever you want. He's not celebrating chaos or cruelty. Instead, he's urging us to stop blindly following values handed down by religion, society, or tradition. To go beyond good and evil means create your own values. Live by a code that affirms life, creativity, strength, and individuality. Instead of asking, is this good or bad, ask, does this expand my power, my growth, my potential? But Nietzsche warns, this path isn't for everyone. Most people need morality as a safety net. They want rules, comfort, tradition. To reject all that and create your own values is terrifying and lonely. Only a few, whom Nietzsche calls free spirits, can truly walk beyond good and evil. Nietzsche's Beyond Good and Evil is not a manual for villains. It's a call to stop living by borrowed morals and start living authentically. It's about strength, courage, and the responsibility of shaping your own life. So the next time someone says, that's evil, remember Nietzsche's question, according to who? Because beyond good and evil, there are no eternal rules, only the values you're strong enough to create. As always, thanks for watching.